Hey, at the time I'm recording this, it's the end of a new year and I love the holidays. I'm Elf in a more toned down form, but it's a great time for today's topic, which is reflecting back on your year or your season, depending on when you're tuning in. But really, you can do this whenever you want because freedom of choice, friends. You do you. Now, people love charging ahead, me included, and getting on with the newness that a brand new year or season can bring, especially if the last season you went through wasn't your favorite and you're hopeful for a better next season or year. But it's really important to pause and reflect because it helps us process so we can move forward without carrying any unnecessary baggage into this exciting new part of our lives. And yes, I know I say that word weird to some people, but I grew up near Seattle, which is near Canada. Okay, so baggage it is for me. And B, because history tends to repeat itself if we don't take a look at the things we do and don't want to repeat. So yes, we can be expected for all, or we can be excited for all the new things we expect in this new year or season to bring. But let's first reflect on how this one went so we can make way for the best possible new time in our lives to come. In fact, we can think of this like when your hands are full and can't accept anything else good into them because you're already carrying a lot. But when you have better things, you could open your hands and your heart too. You need to release some things that are no longer serving you in order to make room to receive the better ones and not carry around unnecessary burdens, right? Like free up your arms for more puppies and kittens and books, because I have an addiction to books. Clearly, I tried Kindle twice, but I just love holding a book in my hands. Yep. So my burden is heavy, but worth it. All right. So how do we effectively reflect on the year or a season we're exiting so we can enter the next one in all its glory at full speed and burden free? First, let's take a look at the things that stick out to you as your favorite memories of the year. How fun. What fills you with gratitude when you think about it? And who fills you with gratitude and love when you think of the people in your life who you got to spend time with or who were really there for you this year when you needed them? What places did you go? What experiences did you have? What new things did you try and find out you never knew you loved until now? One of my favorite questions. What did you achieve that you're so proud you achieved? How do you celebrate that? What were your favorite moments and memories? And what and who are you grateful for from this past year or season? Take a moment to truly think that over and feel that deep gratitude for those things and those people. I got to travel to visit a lot of friends this year at different places in and out of the country, and I am so grateful. And I'm very grateful too for the friends and family that came and visited me too. Thank you if you're listening to this, especially since no one who lives in New York City really wants to do the touristy stuff with me until guests visit, and then I have an excuse because I still love doing that stuff if I'm honest. And since a group of my friends and family are unashamed Disney adults, yes, I said it, and have no shame, and got to go to the California park together this year. It was really exciting. So, what and who are you grateful for this year? After you've thought about and felt that gratitude, it's helpful to take a moment to imagine how you can repeat some of those memories or make new similar memories this upcoming season or a year that are like the ones you appreciated most from the past one. So, if you loved visiting somewhere warm when it got cold last year, to lift your mood, which is, by the way, a hack I've learned after moving from year-round sunshine in LA to a few depressing winter months in New York City, which is why there are probably snowbirders, how you can repeat that and bake it into your plan for next year. So think about that. How can you spend more time with the friends who brought you joy this year too? How can you do more of the activities you discovered you really enjoy in this next season too? Think about how you can make more exciting memories like the ones you really enjoyed from this season and do more of what you've been grateful to do recently in the future too to continue those feelings of gratitude and enjoyment. Then, at the end of next year or next season, you'll get to share those as some of your favorite memories and things you're most grateful for too. Win-win. I love when we discover more of who we are and what we love. And when we live in alignment with who we are to our core as our truest selves is when we feel happiest. So, finding more things that you genuinely love and that bring you enrichment and joy is a huge win from the year that you definitely want to repeat again so you can continue that happiness as you live aligned to who you truly are, doing what you truly love to do and keep doing it. That leads me to next taking a look at what you learned about yourself this past year. How did you grow as a person? How did you strengthen your own capabilities and overcome obstacles you can be so proud of? And what did you learn about what you love to do or who you are that you didn't know before? These can be things like, I was successful in setting more boundaries with family, and I'm really proud of myself for it because now I have more peace. Or I learned how to snowboard, and even if I'm definitely still learning because it looks more like snow plowing where you like ride this way instead of this way down the mountain, I really enjoyed it. Or, clearly using my own experience, I'm happy to hear I was a really supportive friend who made a difference for my bestie who was going through a hard time this year, and I'm so glad. Or even something like, I learned I love the color fuchsia and started branching out from my typical wardrobe of all black in every season, etc. But whatever it is for you, what did you learn about yourself and how did you grow this year or season? And how can you apply that to how you live your life in this next year to accommodate best for yourself and what you discovered you need and enjoy? Now we'll look at the things you didn't love about this year. You knew this was coming, right? What things do you want to avoid happening again next year? That's how we want to frame it. What things do you want to avoid happening again next year? This one is the least fun, but also probably top of mind because unfortunately, we tend to dwell on the negative over the positive. But let's take a moment to check in with ourselves here for a second, but not stay in this space forever. So just a quick stop with me here to determine how we can move forward. When you consider the things you didn't love about this year and would like to prevent happening again next year, let's focus on how you're going to prevent them because that is the action you can take positively. While some things are out of our control, we can always control how we react to them. So, how are you going to prevent the things you can prevent from happening? And how are you going to choose to react to other things that might pop up in this next season so that you can still keep choosing to live in alignment with who you are and who you want to be, and by reacting to them how you'd like to react to them? A note here that hard times bring out odd emotions and that we shouldn't judge how we react if it's not necessarily in a way we would have wanted to, but instead can forgive ourselves for the past that's in the past and look at the situation and decide for the future how we want to react next time as a learning experience that shows that you've truly learned and are growing. We can't change the past, but when we can learn from it and change how we greet similar situations in the future, we have won. So what would you like to prevent next year from happening that you can prevent? And how would you like to react to the things that you can't? Now, this actually reminds me of the famous AA prayer or hope. And I'm serious. You probably know it already, and it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Beautiful. And perfect for this reflection as you prepare for a new season, regardless of if you're in AA or not. No judgment. And now you know me and probably what's coming next. You can ask yourself next, what dreams did you realize you want to achieve next, and how are you going to work toward them this new year? And hand in hand with that, who will you have to become to achieve those dreams? And how do you become an even truer to who you are version of yourself in order to do that? These questions essentially summarize the theme of this whole podcast, but I truly believe that when you get super clear on what you want and all you want, you can figure out what you need to do in order to achieve it, then who you'll need to become in order to take the first steps to achieving that goal as that person, which is you. And then you start living as that person, that best version of yourself now, and do the things they would do. And by taking those steps toward that dream, even if they are baby steps, they will get you there eventually. They're getting you the closest to the truest version of yourself possible. And all progress is progress. And that's what living vicariously through yourself is. It's determining who that best version of yourself is that is the truest to who you are, so that you can live the life of your dreams. And that's most aligned with who you are, which is ultimately the recipe for happiness and success, how you define it. That's it. Don't worry about looking at this from a lens of what dreams did I not accomplish this year? Nah, you can reflect on those for a moment, but then use that to phrase it in the positive way of looking toward what dreams you want to continue pursuing into the new year or the new season you're headed into. We can only plan for the future, not the past. Spoiler alert. But we can reflect on the past. So let's do what we can do and reflect on the past in order to best plan for the future, which can be any time, by the way. It can, for example, be some random date like April 25th, which is the perfect date, you know? Not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket from Miss Congeniality, which I somehow just watched for the first time recently. Fun movie. Love Sandra Bullock always. But the point is, to bring my squirrel mind back, you can decide you're entering a new season at any time you want to make a change. Doesn't have to be at the end of the year or a new business quarter if you think like that, or a new season or a new month, or even on a Monday or Sunday or whatever first day of the week you go by, or your birthday, or whatever. It doesn't have to be a defining moment. You get to decide and make it a defining moment. But you can also use these great milestones if they happen to be here in the year to do it too. Hence it being the holidays as I speak. But it's a good time now, so it's also a good time anytime. And the final question I like to reflect on is what the last season was marked by and what I'd like to do this next season of my life to be marked by, or what I would like this next season of my life to be marked by also. What I mean by that is maybe this past season was a season of frustration, exhaustion, little progress on your goals, etc. But this next season gets to be whatever you want it to be. It can be a new season marked by hope and excitement, by you doing you, by reaching for your dreams, etc. Whatever you want. On my cheer squad in college, you're like, of course, you were on a cheer squad. We had a Bible verse of the season because we were a Christian school, but that's what we use to help us work hard and try and embody that mantra. And you can have a mantra or quote from anything you want. You can make it up yourself, but you get to decide. The future is in your hands and it can look like anything you want it to. Past is in the past and the rest is still unwritten. Thank you, Natasha Bedingfield, for reminding us. You get to write your story going forward, so you can choose your story's themes and however you want that to look. And then it gives you a place from which you can make good decisions that propel you toward where you want to go. Like, I've decided to pursue my year of yes for all that is healthy for me. So no, Steve, going out with you again does not fall into that category. I used a random name here because the names and identifying details of certain individuals have been changed to protect their privacy throughout this podcast. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. You're welcome for that. Also, because I almost always have a book rec here, Year of Yes by the fabulous Shonda Rhimes is a good one. Anyway, knowing where you came from, where you're starting at presently today, and where you want to go is a great recipe for success in order to help you get where you're going to achieve the dreams you want to achieve, while simultaneously removing obstacles you don't want to get in the way twice, because history tends to repeat itself. We don't want obstacles to get in our way more than once. Like Steve. Remove Steve. Sorry for anyone named Steve listening to this. It's really nothing against you. You just have a very useful generic name. But you, Steve, are an individual and there's nothing generic about you except your name. What? My name's Julie. That's as generic as it gets. No need to take offense, but also sorry if my overgeneralization caused you any hurt. Okay, let's recap. Here's what you can ask yourself in order to reflect on the past year or season or time of your life in order to move forward into a better new time in your life. Starting with, what were your favorite memories this past season or year, and how can you make more memories like that next year? Then, what and who are you most grateful for this past year, and how can you spend more time doing that thing or with that person or doing that person? What? Then, how did you grow this past year? And what did you learn about yourself? And how can you apply that to how you live your life next year? Then, what things do you want to avoid happening again this year? And how can you prevent that and control how you react to anything unwanted that might pop up along the way in the best way? In other words, what would you like to prevent next year from happening that you can prevent? And how would you like to react to the things you can't? And what dreams did you realize you want to achieve next? And how are you going to work toward them this year? You can think of what did and didn't work this year and move forward with the things that did. And hand in hand with that, who you will have to become and want to become to achieve those dreams. And how do you become an even truer to who you are version of yourself in order to do that? And finally, you can ask yourself, what was your last season marked by? And what do you want your next season to be marked by? What will be your new season's mantra to help you keep going when the going gets tough and celebrate throughout your new season? You can even make it your computer password. Okay, cool. Hopefully that's helpful. And I'm so excited for a new year and new dreams to come true for you and new things you learn about yourself and who you are and what truly makes you happiest and what success really means to you alone and how you want to achieve that happiness and success for yourself. And I can't wait to be here for you along the way, offering you some ideas on how to get there as a friend on the journey alongside you, which means, surprise, I've also created some new resources for you, like a journal book thing that I'm calling a journal per usual, and other helpful tools and resources for you so we can hang out even outside of this podcast if you're not over all my wild puns and such by now. You can find more at juliebethany.com or at juliebethany on social media, as in on the gram. Thanks so much for tuning in today. go and make me proud. And most importantly, go and make yourself proud. I cannot wait to see you next time. And maybe that's in a new year or season for you, or after April 25th. Okay, bye for now. She's trying to escape before we even get started here. So this is her saying bye.